Hi, I'm Kelsey Matheson. The impact the pandemic has had on our well-being is changing what self-care looks like. Self-care has always been a bit of a buzzword. And when we tend to think of self-care, we think of getting a massage or spending the afternoon with a girlfriend to get a manicure or taking a bubble bath or maybe going to a yoga class. Pre-COVID, we incorporated self-care into our lives whenever we could. We talked about the importance of self-care and we knew it was important. So we felt proud of ourselves when we actually followed through with incorporating self-care into our busy schedules. So at the beginning of the pandemic and even into the summer of 2020, my husband and I were exercising a lot. We were eating really healthy. We were doing whatever we could to take care of ourselves. Our stress levels were incredibly high at that time. I was trying to keep my businesses alive. We were worried and really unsure about our daughter's school situation. At one point during the summer, we were dealing with evening curfews here in New York City, which was crazy. And then we were pretty sure my husband got COVID. I mean, the list goes on, and so did the uncertainty and the stress. So the exercising and the healthy eating definitely helped us get through that first part of COVID. But when fall and winter circled back around, we kind of fell off the health wagon. All the comfort food came out in droves. And I think the main reason for that was because we weren't aware of how much this pandemic was affecting our mental health. We were in such a chronic state of stress and depression and anxiousness that our brains were driving us directly to some form of instant gratification in order to numb ourselves from all the pain and all the uncertainty. Like initially, the workouts and the healthy eating were helpful in managing the anxiety, but in retrospect, we really had no idea how elevated our stress levels were and how deep we were in survival mode. So we were managing somewhat, but we weren't properly processing our emotions and the fears that were being triggered and the deeper feelings around what was happening. The reports of domestic violence increased, depression and psychological distress skyrocketed. And the amount of people reporting sleep disorders rose as well. And we all know when we're sleep deprived, that cascades into a number of other issues that impact our health and well-being. I personally feel that we will not truly understand the impact of this pandemic for a very long time, specifically on our mental health. And look, I'm not a doctor. I went to school and I studied psychology. I never became a psychologist. I'm a coach. I'm a business owner, right? A wife, mother, friend, and daughter. And it's very clear to me that the conversation around self-care is one that we have to take very seriously. And I'm not just talking about booking a spa day, although book one if you can, do it. But what I want to talk about is some unconventional self-care practices that I think are really important for us right now as a society. Now, look, things are starting to open up around the world, right? And there's a lot more, interaction, in-person interaction. And I've heard a lot of my friends and clients say, people aren't nice anymore. Everyone seems to be irritated and angry and rude. Isn't that interesting? You'd think it would be the opposite, right? That everyone would be grateful and loving and excited and relieved. But that's not what I'm hearing. And here's the thing. We don't have control over those people, right? And as we've learned over the past year and a half, we don't have control over this crazy pandemic either. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you have control over? In terms of taking care of your mental health and your overall wellness, what can you control? I personally started to focus on my nutrition again. Last month, I completed a 30-day renewal that I blogged about and I vlogged about as well. And it helped me kickstart a new health journey for me. And this is something I very much can control. I've taken out all the sugar and flour from my diet, even gluten-free flour, and I've incorporated intermittent fasting to reduce insulin resistance and also to increase fat adaptation. And you know what? I feel lighter, I feel healthier, I feel more energized. And I'm avoiding numbing myself with comfort foods or alcohol. And I'm focusing on actually feeling my emotions, feeling my feelings instead of avoiding them or suppressing them. I mean, what a concept, right? And I'm also spending a lot more time in nature. So we were one of those families who adopted a dog during COVID. And my husband and I typically walk him every morning, but my husband's schedule has recently changed, so I've been taking the dog on my own every morning. And it's great. I go for an hour-long hike and I listen to an uplifting audiobook or a motivating podcast. But at some point during the walk, I turn that off and I just listen to the sounds of nature. Right? The birds are always singing. You can hear the breeze through the trees, and my dog Booker and I will watch the squirrels and the chipmunks. And there's a couple of bunnies where we go that we've spotted a few times, right? And it's interesting because nature has thrived during this pandemic, right? While the world was shut down, nature just flourished. And I think it's important to include being in nature when we're talking about self-care, because studies have shown that just a walk in the woods or along the beach drastically improves your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, like drastically. Have you heard of Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing? It's a form of therapy in Japan and was originally designed to help reduce stress and death. Crazy, right? So forest bathing significantly reduces blood pressure and has cardiac and pulmonary benefits also. And don't worry, there's no water, there's no bathing suits involved. It's literally about slowing down and being in nature and connecting to the forest and connecting to yourself. Apparently you can even like hire forest bathing guides around the world. So something else I can control is the connection to my friends and my family. And I know we're all sick of Zoom, but every time I chat with one of my friends, even just on the phone, like the good old days, oh, I feel so much better afterwards. Now, and now that things are opening up, I've been able to spend more time with some of my friends in person. And oh my gosh, that has made such a huge impact on my life. Like it just fills me up with so much joy. And for now, at least, I can, control the amount of time that I spend with my daughter. Like she's out of school for the summer. We've gone into Manhattan a few times. We went to the ice cream museum. She went and got her hair cut the other day, and we're planning on maybe going to see a movie this week. Like she is 11 years old, and I know that I'm going to blink my eyes and she's going to be heading off to college or to travel the world or wherever her journey takes her. So I'm very focused on spending as much quality time with her as I can right now. And I know many of us were with our families during lockdown, but I guess what I'm talking about here is conscious connection. Like my friends and my family give me so much joy, and spending time with them, even if it's just over the phone, it makes me so happy. Like it for me is a very important part of my self-care. When I connect with my friends, who I couldn't see during the pandemic, at times when we were talking, there was a lot of worry, there was a lot of uncertainty, there was a lot of even complaining, right? I'm not talking about that. What I'm referring to is grounded connection with the people who give you joy. Like when you jump off the phone with them or you go home, after spending some time with them, you feel uplifted. You feel so happy. Does that make sense? Do you see the difference? So yes, book a spa day. My husband and I actually recently did that together, and it was magical. Like it was so needed. And yes, draw a bubble bath for yourself and, use some essential oils or light some candles. And yes, go get your hair done or go get your nails done. But if you want to take your self-care deeper, then I really encourage you to do things like spend time in nature. Connect with loved ones who truly put a smile on your face. Focus on nurturing your mind and your body, because remember, our health truly is our most valuable asset. Speak with a therapist. I mean, maybe that should be at the top of this self-care list, right? Meditate or find some time to just simply be. Find the time to simply be quiet and be still. Volunteer. Help those in need. right? These are all alternative self-care practices that can greatly impact your mental health and overall wellness, right? And there are many more. So I would love for you to write your favorite self-care rituals down in the comments below. What are the ones that really work for you, right? Please share some of your go-to self-care practices so we can create a powerful list. I mean, we all need it now more than ever. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Kelsey Matheson. I'm so grateful that you tuned in, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.